Mother's love is all you need. You have learnt enough, now you know what to do. Kill him. He is what I have feared the most, Rosa. He must perish. Rosa's face contorted into worry. The discovery of Guillem's identity shook her to her core, but it also made her feel the burden of their years together, perhaps the understanding of his pain as well. Must we really do this, Mother? You still have doubts after everything you have learned? No, but this knowledge just makes me want to... You stupid child, can't you see? It is what should be done. Do it for the greater good, do it for me. Oh, God, it's another choice, none of which is the right answer. Do it for me, do it for the greater good. Have we played the mother card once? Because if so, we probably shouldn't be clicking on me again. The greater good, however... Do it for the greater good. He should be stopped. It is the right thing to do. Is it really? It is easy to say that, but what do you really want? To destroy him, of course, to stop him from hurting more people. Now, this is a right and wrong answer. At least it is in my eyes. This here is the right answer. This is the wrong one. So we're going to do this one. Because we don't want him to die. We want these two to have a bit of a chat. We don't want him to just kill him. Are you really this daft child? He devours the minds of those that love him. I cannot think of a more disgusting creature. We must destroy him. It needs to be done. He needs to pay for the victims of his curse. But is it really the right thing? Is death the only way to change him? Maybe not. Maybe not. But must we risk it? He has become haughty and powerful. Soon enough this power will drive him mad. Am I not like him, Mother? I am also a monster. We are the same. No, you are not. You are not a monster. I have raised you, guided you, and loved you enough. All my sacrifices were for you, to stop you from turning into something like him. Oh, I was always afraid, always, always. But you are my dear daughter. He may be a monster, but you are not, because of me, because of a mother's love for her child. Now that you know his true face, there is only one thing to do. Kill him. She doesn't look like she wants to do that. No. No? I think he can change. Perhaps I might still be able to save him. He will not listen to you. Because we want them to have the chat. That's what all my answers are guiding to. What makes you think he will listen to you? He was fed for centuries. His addiction is his own curse. It controls him. Yes, but isn't he a creature of love? So am I. Love, no matter how lonely or depraved, always gives all of itself. Only I can understand. Only I can save him. That's why I want to try. What do you intend to do? The spell cannot be reversed now. It is dangerous to leave it unfinished. I will light a gape and make him remember. Will that even work? What if that doesn't work, child? A gape is a blessing, not a curse. A monster of his caliber will only shrug it off. What will become of you then? Please don't do this. Trust in me, Mother. I will do the right thing. You? You? What could you possibly hope to do, you dumb child? You are ignorant, naive. Just a brainless, dangerously idealistic girl with a head up in books and fiction. There's no happy ending in this life, you worm. Oh, you bring me so much pain. I should have abandoned you years ago. You cannot hurt me any longer, Mother. I know that you love me. You are my memory. As such, I want to remember you as the person who loved me with her whole heart, not the tainted woman who abused me. It is all my fault you act this way. Your voice is my own securities and my own pain. Now, not anymore. How dare you degrade me into an apparition? I am real, listen to me! You have called me a good person before. You believe in me, don't you, Mother? You have guided me well. Believe in me. Believe that I am doing the right thing. I love you so much, but I cannot follow all your wishes anymore. Let me make my own decisions from now on. We want her to ignore. She might listen to this because she's kind. We want her to ignore us. You disgusting child, after everything I've done for you, for everything I have sacrificed, you defy my wishes now? For what? For a man like him? You know what he has done. Are you not going to avenge me? You must avenge me. Revenge? Is that what you really want? Will that give you the peace you seek? Dunno. What else? I do not think revenge is what you really want. I don't know what you're talking about. You are part of me, Mother. You are me. You simply crave punishment. You crave atonement. I will save him whether you allow me to or not. You love him, don't you? I'm sorry, Mother. I know you hate him from the bottom of your heart, but I have already forgiven him. Like how I have already forgiven you. Jesus Christ, we're a... For lack of a better term, we're rather a schizophrenic brother, aren't we? I cannot stop you from feeling this way, can I? I will try to save him from himself, because that's what I'm supposed to do. Perhaps that is the reason why I was sent his way. I got to spend years with him and have memories of him. He taught me how to be strong. He got to watch me grow into his strength. It is more than I can ask. You do know that he does not feel the same way for you. He does not love you, child. Yes, that makes me better than him, because I love him without asking for anything in return. A concept that has never yet crossed my mind. So be it. Just know that he is more powerful and full of pride. He will not take kindly to being bound by magic. We can only hope, Mother. Take care of yourself. I'm always here in your memories, my dear. Whatever happens, please take care of yourself. Thank you, Mother, my beautiful daughter. Goodbye. Man. Some deep shit. So, Mother was never truly Mother, it was just a voice in her head, but I mean, come on, we all sort of knew that anyway, didn't we? What in me is dark? No light, but rather darkness visible. But that is not me. What is in me is not me. I fought with it, lived it, survived. Yet we become what we subdue. If this is true, then I was never myself. I am not a monster. Then what are you? Tired. Do you even really love me? Or were you just hungry? It is hard to divide that line sometimes. Hunger hovers over every action I take. Maybe I was bored. That's sweet of you, Gilly. Truly, marvellously classy. What are you doing in my dream, Catherine? I get to punch you in the face, you fucking bastard. And then, perhaps, say goodbye. Pain wells up in my throat and I answer it with anger. Goodbyes are pointless. I have no need for them. You're just another voice in my conscience that will fade away in time. No, I am not. You're still a bastard, mind you, but I love you still. And I loved you, but does that matter now? I will love another one quite like you in the future. You know, I can always tell when you're lying to me. Your mouth does that little twitch, and your nose flares up like you smell something bad. The man you knew is gone. He was nothing but an illusion you yourself designed, my dear. I only adapt. Then, why do you still do it? How can I tell, still, that you're lying? I'm not, liar. You were holding a telescope. I don't see it. Sagittarius is over there, I laughed, pointing your hand to the night sky. Beneath the blanket of stars, the brightest one was sitting right beside me. Would you believe me if I say I never meant to kiss you? But I'm glad I did. I had hoped you wouldn't see my hand shake. In your eyes, I feel like I am somebody worth loving. I am a lie, but that was the truth. The arrow you stuck my heart with worked both ways, Monsieur. I have loved you since I was a child. And you had to keep this mask on for years, longer than you usually had to. But you see, when you become something for a long time, it imprints on you like a seed. Maybe you liked keeping this face, Monsieur. Your cat died today and we buried it in my garden. You were crying so hard, nobody could comfort you. Candies or sweets and bribes never worked. In my desperation, I said everything else as if that was a truth worthy to be told to a child. Did you know that the baker's dog also died? Things die, so please don't be upset. Your eyes stared up at me. To my surprise, you began to laugh. Gilly, you are such an idiot. The baker's dog also died. You were really trying to cheer me up. I shifted uncomfortably in my boots, but your laughter had you in stitches. You took away my love, but you can't take away my memories. Memories falter and fade. When you have lived for as long as I have, memories are cheap. Love is cheap, Catherine. So would you please leave me now? I don't want to remember you anymore. I don't want this. Once upon a time there was a man who lost his heart, so he eats others. I never lost it. I have always been cursed without it. Then take mine. Yours? Take my love with you until the end of time. You will never go hungry again. That's not true. You hated me at the very end, like everyone else. Well, you ruined my life, so of course I hated you. You lied to me, you used me. But love and hate can be so similar. It's as simple as flipping a coin. But don't give me apathy, Guillem. I want my memory to burn as bright as a star in your mind. And this memory I want you to remember me by is not my body hanging lifelessly by a rope. Remember me as the child who loved you. My dear Guillem, I love you. I forgive you. An unfamiliar bitterness washes over my tongue. It threatens to sting my eyes with tears, clenching my throat with pain. Curiously, it is a sensation almost foreign in its rarity. Love, is it possible? Can I love a memory? Can I survive with only your love to give me sustenance? I take a step towards you. Something stirred in my dreamscape and suddenly you are not there anymore. I see you in the distance, a semblance on your visage. Upon a grassy hill, the sky is dark, the moon hangs ominously upon your head. Catherine, run! But you cannot hear me. My legs are draped in clear jelly. In dreams everything is slow, and I cannot get to you in time. Your face begins to change. You are Catherine, you are Emily, you are Marcus, you are Diomede, you are Psyche. Your head begins to snap and distort. The skin bubbles and the flesh tears to reveal the pulsing hide of the monster inside. Your glistening heart pumps in your chest, your feathers pruned and majestic from recent feeding. Yet I'm not afraid of this thing and its many mouths. You are merely holding a mirror up to me. A slithering hand wraps around my neck and lifts me from the ground. The pressure tightens as I struggle. One of your tongues licks at my side of my belly, as if sampling the food before the course. Running away again. Content to starve yourself and feed off a memory. Pathetic. You look like Catherine. Maybe that is the most painful part. I can't bear to look at you. Why starve yourself when there is plenty to eat? Why beg for scraps when you can gorge? Did you really think your life could change? You know better, son of beauty, brother of night, love. That's you. You are a sickness. Wherever you will go, the shadow will haunt you. Collect your trinkets, by all means, relive your precious memory. But know that you will be nothing more than a hypocrite, a clean man walking in a mountain of filth. Open your eyes, open them, behold my true, glorious form. Humans are insatiable. Men and women, they're all rabid for love. How many times have you been their toy? Humans are cruel to things they desire. I must be powerful. I must be on top. I control them instead of them controlling me. I am not a piece of meat. Never again. Your face softens in the grip of my neck, drags me close to your lips. You claim your mouth with yours, and it tastes just like honey. Spit ropes between our lips. Love is my sustenance. Love is my sustenance. I'll take what I can because they so willingly give. I must get rid of this dastardly spell I am under. It is playing with my mind. Catherine is gone like a memory. In the end, this was an old vile magic. A cheap parlour trick. Whoever touched me will pay. He doesn't know. We can breathe a sigh of relief for now. Guillem woke up with the dream still fading from his memory. He was not in his room, but in Catherine's. This did not surprise him. Whoever cast the spell did not do so on a whim. To take him away from his sanctuary was to render him weaker. A pure white candle flickered on the table. Its flame looked as though it was ready to go out. I couldn't save you. I tried. Rosa stepped out of the shadows. You! Guillem stared at her with irritation. What is the meaning of this, Rosa? This is your doing. She looked at him with sadness. I was too weak to save you, Guillem. Save me from what? From what you are. Guillem's face crumpled into a confused anger. I didn't expect such contempt from someone I trusted. Do you expect me to ask your forgiveness for what I've done, sire? Because I won't. I will stand by what I did. I will do it again if I can. But such a spell requires much preparation. You are not to do that again, do you hear me? I will not allow myself to be subjected to such an insult. I'm not trying to do something that petty. I'm trying to save you. I do not know what you're talking about. If you persist in this foolish behaviour, then I will be forced to take action. Go ahead. But I will simply try again. Stop it! Guillem grabbed her shoulders in irritation and shook her. They stared at each other in heavy silence, and Guillem somewhat regretted his forcefulness. But Rosa did not flinch or look away even at his outburst. There was no fear or fragility in her eye at all. She held her steady gaze until it was Guillem who looked away. Why? Why are you doing this? You should know how pointless it is. I had to try, Guillem. If there is a way to save you, I am inclined to take it. I had hoped Catherine's memory might work on you. Guillem, I cast a spell to give you her memory, so you don't have to resort to feeding. Guillem recoiled from her like her skin was scalding to the touch. How did you... Rosa just stared at him, her eye clear and resolute. I know what you are, because we are the same. We are creatures that emanate desire and feed on love. I have lived with this curse, knowing only a semblance of what I am. Mother taught me how to control it, even in her own twisted way. I was lucky, Guillem, I wasn't alone. But you were. Rosa's eye bloomed with sadness. I can only imagine how hard that must have been. Guillem staggered back in shock. So there was another like him. A desperate hope clutched onto him like talons. Was that why he had taken to her, so without wanting to feed on her? That's why I'm doing this, Guillem. I wanted to give you Catherine's memory, like how Mother's memory kept me sustained. Love doesn't have to be taken like this. There are other ways. Guillem frowned indignantly. Did you think I've tried that? You're still very young, I can tell. I have already endured centuries of this curse. I know all the tricks to survive, from strangers to villagers. I know how much I can take. I am meticulous. Then why must you insist in this method? With no reason to stand for ceremony, Guillem's face changed easily. Rosa's jaw clenched. She was talking to a stranger now. His face lost the virtue that once belonged to a blameless man. It was replaced by a curious, cheeky grin, a perpetual look of a childlike mischief. This man irritated her, and yet somehow Rosa felt like she had known him for a lifetime. He had always been there, hadn't he? Or rather, it had always been him. Why? Because it is fun. And the taste is worlds better. The experience of drawing out love is unlike any human feeling. It is transcendent. It is the only moment I feel alive, the only moment I feel like a god. Once you've had a taste for it, nothing else compares. You must try it. I bet you can only afford to be self-righteous because you don't know any better. You're wrong, I did it to Catherine. I tasted her love, but I was able to stop myself in time. I knew it would destroy her. So that was you, Makes sense that Catherine's love for me waned. That had never happened before. Desire can be controlled, Guillem. I do not wish to control it. Why should I? Admit it. You've longed for that taste since your tongue dipped in its pot. Rosa did not speak. She shifted nervously on her feet. Guillem went on. We are given this curse to endure, Rosa. Why must we scatter in the corner and humble ourselves? To whom do we abdicate ourselves to? To normal people? They are beneath us. For all their achievements and talents, love is the one thing that can drive them mad. Don't you see? Their weakness is the one thing we feed on. It is the natural order. Guillem stepped closer to her and touched her bare arm. He tried to hide his bliss. I told you before, if you need power, then be powerful. I will teach you how to wield it. You still have much to learn. If you will join me, Rosa, just imagine what we can do. We will be powerful, you and I. Rosa's momentary confusion faded. The hard look appeared on her face once again. I will never join you. You use people for your gain. So? Guillem's voice couldn't keep from rising. What of it? Isn't it the rule of human existence? It's all a game, Rosa. A game I play to win. So people's lives are a game to you? Guillem shrugged. Of course they are. Humans use and abuse and they throw away on whim. They destroy for no apparent reason and accept that they want to. It took me the longest time to understand why. I realize it is simply their nature. Humans do not play fair, but I do, and I still get ahead. Rosa's eye narrowed at Guillem. How can you throw people away so easily? Don't you see that there are good people like Catherine? You are afraid to remember. You are afraid to give them the worth that they deserve. You rejected her memory, content to forget her value. Guillem was silent for a few moments. Then he gave a low snicker. Rosa, Rosa, Rosa. That is an amusing thesis. He looked at her dumbfounded face pitifully. Another chuckle escaped. Guillem couldn't help it. You got me all wrong, Rosa. I do not undervalue people. In fact, I love them. I revere them. I am grateful. They sustain me after all. That alone deserves all the appreciation and care I can give. I loved Catherine with every fibre of my being. She was a kind soul. She tasted perfect. But I think you underestimate how long I've been in this dirty, forsaken rock. Good people are not rare and precious treasures. As such, they are not to be handled any differently from the rest. What? And all this talk about worth? Do you mean some people are worth more than others because they are kind? What if from now on I only consume bad people? Or how about those in the lowest caste of society? Ruffians, rapists, thieves. And it's easy to be kind when you are privileged, but those poor, unworthy souls, surely no one would miss them. Would that make you feel any better? Rosa faltered. That's not what I'm saying. That is exactly what you are saying. You're telling me I shouldn't feed because there are good people out there that deserve better. So if they're bad, it is all right. I'm terribly judgmental of you. No, every human has a capacity for kindness and cruelty. To judge somebody on such a volatile detail, that is prejudice. After all, a kind man can mull his death of a fellow man no sooner than a criminal can turn a new leaf. The truth is, there are no good or bad people. There are just people. And I'm not picky. Stop saying that. You don't really believe that, do you? You hurt like me. You want acceptance like me. I know deep inside you want something more than a feeding or a craving. You've written as much in your diary. You sneaky little minx, didn't I tell you weren't supposed to touch that? Stop! Please stop this, Guillem. I implore you. Her pleading face stirred something in Guillem, but the callousness in his heart had decades to harden. He snorted. Or what? What do you plan to do, little girl? Is this it? Is this your plan? Put on a light show and talk to me to death? Surely you didn't think it would be that easy? If you have a different offer, I'm all ears. Thought as much. Well, good talk. Albeit a little pointless, I'm sure you'll agree. Is that what you think of Catherine, then? Nothing but cattle. Guillem winced despite himself. I loved Catherine. I know you too loved her completely, whether you admit it or not. You can't take love without giving it, can you? Guillem sighed in annoyance. Just another spoke in the old fun wheel. You're lying if you say that you are not at least troubled by your actions. That's a start, Guillem, the first step. It means you are not as cold as you want to appear. If you admit your guilt and take responsibility for her death... Guillem waved her arm in a different scoff. I refuse. Her death was her own decision. I had no hand in that. She reaped what she sowed and I collected, that is all. With this validation, the assured smile came back to his lips. He shrugged. Who knows? Maybe she could have gotten better over time. Most people bounce back from the loss of love. Or not. Who really knows? Is it my fault she gave me everything? I didn't ask her to. Which was only fair. Like you said, I didn't hold her back. It was an equal exchange. Rosa's throat went dry. Oh, love. Love is the strongest force in the world. But it is never pure. Always tainted, always poisoned. What are you talking about? Well, I hate to shatter this vision you have of Catherine, but she wasn't so righteous. She was as selfish as everyone else. What? Think back, Rosa. All of our fights started because of her jealousy. She couldn't stand the thought of somebody else getting a slice of her pie. And why not? Wasn't I convenient for little Miss Peride? Yes, of course, convenient and perfectly adequate. Sweet, boring, obliquing Marquis de Gaulle. Wasn't he so easy to love? He could help her achieve her grand dreams, give her the good life that hovered just beyond her reach. After all, Guillaume didn't seem to have any plans of his own, didn't he? As if satisfied to exist only for her. Honestly, what a catch! What an impressive pedestal! Even when the core of this love poisoned her, she made no attempts to leave. I wonder why. That's a question. Why indeed? Because she had hope, Guillaume. She stayed hoping the feelings for you would return. That was how much she loved you. Guillaume scoffed. How sweet of you to say. You really thought Catherine stayed with me just for love? And not at all because she was scared, insecure, comfortable? Guillaume tapped his chin in mock contemplation. Or maybe she just wanted so badly to be a marquis's wife. Such a proud girl she was. Must she settle for anything less? That will show all the people who used to scorn and underestimate her. They who called her sister a whore. The ones who called her and her mother mad. That will show them. Rosa took a shaky step back. Mother's words forced themselves into her head. They're all the same. They're all selfish. Rosa bit her lip. It is not true. I won't believe it. Catherine was a kind person. So what? Does it matter? Does being kind justify selfishness? Does being kind even save anyone? You are heartless. Maybe. It has been so long I can't tell. Always the love of self is first, Rosa. I don't take it personally. Shut up. Don't you ever get tired of justifying your own hunger? So, Catherine wasn't perfect, yet you simply pass the blame, all just excuses? The truth is, you just don't want to stop, do you? You're no god, no higher being. You're nothing but a common vampire, a monster. Guillaume's face twitched, feeding on the love of the people who love you. You must know how wrong that is. Guillaume's fist shook visibly, but he kept his smile. His voice remained pleasant and calm. So you compare me to storybook monsters now, Rosa? How insulting. But yes, wouldn't it be easier if I dined on blood or flesh? Something tangible, perhaps, something physical? Things would have been so much simpler. After all, if I drank blood, I wouldn't have to tangle with their lives. He turned to Rosa, his eyes burning as she could feel the heat in his stare. I wouldn't have to be sane. Guillaume's voice shook with anger. She flinched. You self-righteous minstrel, how dare you talk to me about guilt? How dare you call me a monster? You chastise me, singing songs of praise for the greater good. Have you ever tasted your own betrayal on the lips of the person you love? Do you know what it's like to strangle hope with your own hands? I look into their eyes and I see them die from the inside out. Am I worth it? Am I worth all their lives? Never. But I do it again and again and again and again. Just for the right to exist. You read my journal and act like you know me. You know nothing. I wish I was a monster. Maybe then I wouldn't have to feel. The silence reigned between the two of them. Guillaume's face went blank after his outburst, almost confused at the words that came out of his mouth. He forced his lips into a placated grin. But pardon me, I didn't mean to shout. He took a deep breath and refused to speak again. Rosa buried her face in her hands. He was right. She had come here with an overestimation of herself. Her ethics were the cries of a child. How could he listen to someone immersed only in her own tender ideals? If she wanted to help him, she had to know his pain. But what could she say? Her mind struggled with the words. They all sounded artificial in her head. All she could do was hold out her hand to reach him, couldn't she? She could offer him hope, a little warmth away from the chunk of ice beating inside him. She approached him tentatively. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have spoke such hateful words, but don't you see, you don't have to endure this pain anymore. I am offering you a different path, Guillaume. Let me help you. He didn't speak nor move. Rosa held on to the pain she saw in his eyes a moment ago. It was her only hope. But if there was ever a trace of it in his face, it had flitted away before it took substance. His abject face contorted into a grin. He chuckled. Then his laughter filled the room, cold, bitter laughter that chilled her skin into a shiver. Rosa drew her hand away in fear. You really don't get it, do you? I meant to say, that is what makes it substantive. It is precious. What? Make no mistake, I endure all this, not for something silly as disposable as blood. Love. Love is worth all the pain. The best wine takes the dirt from which it was exalted. Rosa's mouth dropped in horror. She stepped away from him. A cold shiver passed her spine. No, Guillem. She stared at him, grasping at the flicker of hope that came as fast as it went. He had built a kingdom from the maze of his own heart, both ruler and prisoner, both exalted and doomed. She could feel the cracks in his armour, the crumbling of a wall. He wanted to get out. Rosa thought she saw the light in the darkness, a hand reaching out to be saved. But where was it now? Where was this hope? It was gone. Had it ever been there at all? Or did her desire to help him trick her into seeing what she wanted to see? Rosa bit her lip to steel herself. Don't look at me like that. I had the same morals as you when I was younger, but time smooths out our rough ideologies. I was wrong. I thought I could still save you, but you're quite full of yourself if you think you can save people. Guillem took a step towards her, and Rosa's throat closed up. Get away from me. I'm not going to hurt you, Rosa. If you wish to debate philosophy further, we can do so for 1,000 more years. But aren't we ignoring the single most potent truth? We found each other. So many souls running around this earth, and we actually managed to meet. Do you realise how momentous this is? I can give you love, Rosa. Forget Catherine or your mother. They are remains of a bitter past. How long are you going to hang on to their memories anyway? Love is not something to be thrown away, Guillem. It endures. She was cruel, but now I understand she had my best interests at heart. From under the folds of her dress, Rosa took out a locket. It was the locket he had given her at the cliff. Guillem stared at it, confused. Remember the person in the picture, Guillem? Oh, you got it open. Pray tell, who was it? Is it the Queen? This is my mother. What? Guillem's mind went blank for a moment. I felt something for you from the very beginning. My heart felt close to you. I want to believe this is because we are actually family. Don't you see? That's why I can't give up on your redemption so easily. I care for you more than you think, Guillem. Guillem furrowed his brow. Indeed, the woman in the picture stirred something in his memory, and yet no matter how much he searched his memories, he could not remember. Was there such a woman that bore a child in the past? A sudden hope dug its nails in his chest again. He answered his hope with contempt, a force of habit. Pardon me, my memory is a bit rusty. What was her name again? Rosa parted her lips in disappointment. Is that all you're going to say? You were carrying my mother's picture all this time. You are my father, Guillem. That is probably why we are the same. Curiously, there was an urge to take back his haughty words, but Guillem forced it down. This pain made him uncomfortable. Her tears were starting to hurt him. He laughed and shrugged and then promptly clenched his jaw. He didn't like how she made him aware of his own failings. A sudden irritation at Rosa came over him and itched to hurt her. Oh dear me, forgive my cynicism, darling. He scratched his chin to hide his distress. That portrait is quite blurry, and I am barren. Rosa staggered. Shit's going down in a major way.